Lesson 7.5, carrying on through what we have been doing with division. We're going to be dividing by 4 today. Looking at our lesson objectives, again, we're building on those problem-solving skills that we have been working on, learning how to think using an array, equal groups, factors, related multiplication facts to divide by 4 today. So we've spent a lot of time making arrays. We've spent time learning how to do equal groups. Factors is something that we've learned about when we were doing multiplication, and you will use a lot in 4th grade also. And then on lesson 7.4, we talked about related facts and how they can help you to divide. So your essential question related to your lesson objective is, what strategies can you use to divide by 4? So think about those things as we work through the lesson so that you can journal correctly in your math journal using that essential question. Warming up our brains for 7.5, we're going to look at the problem of the day. There are 736 people at a basketball game on Saturday and 829 people at a basketball game on Tuesday. How many more people went to the game on Tuesday than on Saturday? So we're going to compare the two things of Saturday and Tuesday. So I'm just going to make myself a quick little graphic here. We have Tuesday as 736 people, and Saturday was 829 people. So if we find the difference, we know that we're going to subtract. And in order to subtract, I know that my bigger number needs to go on top. So 829 minus 736. So starting in our ones, 9 minus 6 is 3. Moving to my tens, 2 minus 3 I can't do, so I need to go over to my hundreds and borrow. If I take 1 from 8, that leaves me with 7 in my hundreds place, and that gives me 10 to put into my tens place. So I have 12 minus 3 now, which I know is 9. 7 minus 7 is 0. So my answer would be 93 people. Our brains are nice and warmed up. They tried to trick us by making us borrow, and we paid attention because we wrote it out instead of trying to do it in our head, so we were able to get the correct answer. Looking at the first page in your math journal, you're on page 269. And it starts with our real world problem. A tree farmer plants 12 red maple trees in 4 equal rows. How many trees are in each row? What strategy could you use to solve the problem? I'm thinking they want us to probably use one of these. Okay, an array, equal groups, factors, related multiplication facts. So I'm going to look at an array today. It looks like they kind of want us to do that because they have it started there also. So one way is to make an array. So we're going to look at the array that they started. Looks like they have 4 rows, and we need to get to 12 total. So they have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Count the number of tiles in each row. 1, 2, 3 columns. So there are 3 tiles in each row. So there are 3 trees in each row. To write it using the simple division symbol, we start with our biggest number of 12, and we divided it by the 4 equal rows, and it gave us the 3. Using the division bar, your big number goes in the middle that you're going to divide. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Looking at it another way, to making equal groups. It said that it made 4 equal rows, so they started by making 4 groups. Draw one counter in each group. continue drawing one counter at a time until all 12 counters are drawn. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, that's all we needed. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to count how many I have in each one. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. This step is very important to go back and count so that when you get to where there's not equal groups, you don't miss the problem because you have more counters in one group than in another. So just going back, starting to go back and check makes it a really good habit. So there are 3 counters in each group. Okay? We're going to move to page 270 and try yet another strategy. It wants us to use factors. Remember, factors are the numbers you multiply together in a multiplication problem. So you know that the factors of 4 are 2 and 2. So anytime you're really multiplying by 4, you can do it by cutting it in half and then cutting it in half again. So to divide by 4, use the factors. So here's your problem. 12 divided by 4 equals n. You're going to divide it by 2 because we know that 2 times 2 is 4. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. And then take that quotient and divide it in half again. So you're kind of making it a 2-step problem, but making it easy for yourself. Okay? So they did 12 divided by 2 equals 6, and then 6 divided by 2, which equals 3, which gives us the 12 divided by 4 equals 3. And then the last strategy that they wanted us to look at today was using related multiplication facts, which is what we kind of did in the last lesson that we did, 7.4. What number completes your multiplication facts? So if you're still one that is struggling remembering all those multiplication facts, you really need to put in some time and memorize those because it's going to make your division much easier, just like your addition made your subtraction much easier. Okay? So you have 12 divided by 4, which equals n. And then you're just going to substitute 4 times n, we're trying to find what n is, equals 12. So 4 times 3 equals 12, which gives you the same answers again. Okay? And it's just giving you a little reminder here that a letter or a symbol like n can stand for an unknown number in any kind of a problem. And we even used that in the lesson before. Okay, so now you're going to use factors of 4 to find 16 divided by 4. Okay, so you're going to start by cutting that 4 in half. Dividing by the factors, the divisors, is the same as dividing by the divisor. Okay, so factors are going to help you. 16 divided by 2 equals 8, because I know that 2 times 8 equals 16. Now I'm going to take this 8 down here and divide it by 2 again, which gives me 4. So 16 divided by 4 is 4. You can do a check because you know that 4 times 4 equals 16. Seeing those checks. Okay, these ones you're going to share and show. You're going to use a couple of different strategies that we have introduced. The first one, you're going to use an array. So they even drew it out for you. Okay, here's your 4, and then they continued doing rows of 4 until they got to the other number, the big number of 28. So now you just need to count how many you have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 28 divided by 4 is 7. Okay. I'm going to have you complete the next 2 sections on your own. You're going to find the quotient in any strategy that you want. You have to be able to explain that strategy. And then it wants you to find the unknown number, remembering up here what they told us, that the unknown number can be any type of a letter or symbol. So in the first one they use A, in number 8 they use a triangle. It doesn't matter. You're just looking for that unknown number. So leaving that for just a second, your next page is also on your own. So again, it says on the beginning to draw tiles to make an array, so make sure you do that on 10 through 13. I know it may seem silly if you know your facts already, but the directions do say draw the tiles to make an array on 10 through 13. Okay? Then the next section, you're going to find the quotient. You can find that in any way that you want to. And then here, find the unknown number, so the missing number. You can complete that any way you'd like to. Number 30 and 31, complete the table. Remember, it's kind of hard to see on my board, but you're going to do 9 divided by 3, 12 divided by 3, 15 divided by 3, and 18 divided by 3 in order to find these numbers. And the same in number 31. Your hot problems, you're finding the missing number. And you're going to skip this part also for a moment, and we're going to go and do our story problems together. Problem solving. Using the tables for 40 and 41. Every one of our problem solving pages has started with using a table. Title of the table, Finding Trees. First column is the type of tree, We have a dogwood, an oak, and a birch. Your next column is the numbers planted. So it looks like 24 dogwood, 28 oak trees, and 16 birch trees. Okay, so we're going to use that table in order to solve number 40 and 41. So, number 40, Douglas planted the birch trees in 4 equal rows. Then he added, then tells us might have to do 2 different things, 2 more birch trees in each row. How many trees did he plant in each row? So we need to look at the birchery, and it's 16, and he put them in 4 equal rows. Okay, so we need to first figure out what 16 divided by 4 is. After finding what 16 divided by 4 is, you can use one of those strategies and make 4 groups and count out 16. You can use related facts, that 4 times what equals 16, and that number goes there. But then the second part of the question asks us, then he planted 2 more trees. So you're going to take this answer, I'm going to just make this T, and I'm going to add 2 more to that to give me the answer to my problem. And of course, I'm going to label my answer as trees. Okay, so this one would be in here. Number 41. Mrs. Banks planted the oak trees in 4 equal rows. So we're looking at oak trees this time. Mr. Webb planted dogwood trees in 3 equal rows. So we have 4 equal rows, 3 equal rows. Who planted more trees? Okay, so we're going to do Mrs. Banks here. And she planted the oak trees, which was 28, in 4 rows. So find that answer. While Mr. Webb planted dogwood trees, which was 24, into 3 equal rows. Find that answer. Then it wants to know how many more, which means we're going to have to subtract. So you're going to take this answer and subtract this one, and you might have to flip them so that you have the bigger number on top. Hint, hint, hint. And figure out who planted more. And then tell us why. Okay? Okay, moving to number 42. Brian earns $40 mowing lawns each week. He earns the same amount, so that's just like equal groups, for each lawn. If he mows 4 lawns, how much does Brian earn for each lawn? So you're going to go 40 divided by 4 equals, and we're working with money this time. So get those dollar signs in there before the numbers. And then label. And number 43 is your test problem. Eric planted 20 flowers in groups of 4. How many groups of flowers did he plant? See if you can figure that one out. When you're done, you can go back and do on your own page. Make sure you follow the directions for each one of those sections. And also finish the bottom problems of these. And when you're done, then you're ready for your math journal. They did a great job showing you a couple of different strategies you can use to divide by 4. I think my favorite one is the dividing by 2. and then write and solve a word problem that involves dividing by 4. So if you're not sure, go back to this page and see if you can find one that you could modify a little bit to be your own, where you're dividing something by 4. If I went too fast, or if you didn't understand something, make sure that you go back and rewatch the video. They're not very long, and I do talk fast and go fast, so if you need to review, go ahead and do that before you finish completing your pages, or after you're done, just to make sure that you are ready for your test. Your mid-chapter test, this section for this chapter is after 7.6, so you will be coming up on an assessment soon if you need to rewatch any of the videos.